was just pondering the beauty of nothing, and we all just want an elephant. God, please heed the warnings. For God's sakes, you're glowing. Don't stare at the sun. You might just burn up. A spark could set this thing off.
The idea for Karma Incorporated was sort of a idea that gained momentum. I liked the idea of kind of doing a comic book story about like con artists and hitmen and hackers, like all these mischief makers that you really don't have many comics that focus on that type stuff. This story was really the first story that I ever wrote that was truly character driven. Like everybody talks about stories being character driven, but very rarely do people know actually how to do that. And all the stories I'd done before that, I had a story that I wanted to tell. In this one, I had characters that I wanted to put on the page. In fact, in Karma Incorporated, it's basically a house drama. It's a story about 5 people who they work together, but in many ways they are sort of a outcast family that, you know, they don't really have a home, and so they stick to each other. But it's also a story about a marriage that's falling apart, and Marcia, who's our main character, her attempt to sort of save the family. The story really is about Marcia, and it's funny because I asked Tom about halfway through the series, I said, Tom, who's your favorite character? And he gave the same answer that I gave, which was really encouraging. He says, I love Marcia. You know, Marcia is that character that I think is so unique and so different than what other characters are. But the other thing that we really liked about Marcia was I think there's so much complexity in her, and I don't know if that was intentional. It just sort of came out as the story was coming along.
Karma Incorporated is actually the first comic I've ever drawn. David found my artwork online, and something appealed about it to him. And from there, he had the idea for Karma Incorporated and thought, I guess, that my artwork was the best fit. This is something that's got comedy, drama. It takes place sort of in the real world. And while I like to draw zombies and other nonsense like that, it was kind of a refreshing change from all the other stuff I was doing.
I liked the story because David had told me about the story, and I thought it would be a really interesting, story. And as soon as I saw Tom's art, I was like, yeah, I'm good. And it was good because I'd only been coloring Ben's artwork to begin with, and so I really wanted the chance to color someone else's art because I'd never done that before, and it gave me a chance to improve on and change my style a little bit, because my style that I color with Ben's and with Tom's art and everyone else's art is very different. And so I thought it would be a really good book, and I thought the art would make it sell, and I thought the story would make it sell.
At the Vice and Virtue Ministry, you'll learn your etiquette. The green climb the ranks and join us here amongst the bourgeoisie.
When I did Karma Incorporated, I wanted to make sure that it took place in Dallas, and I wanted it to have a feel like the places in Dallas that I knew.
You move up socially, falling.
The whole thing takes place in my best friend's neighborhood. In fact, the address that we use in the comic book is Wim's address. And the house where Rob Wilson lives is an actual house in that neighborhood. Everything in Karma Incorporated is taken from actual locations in Dallas. And this is the headquarters of Karma Incorporated. This is where they meet and talk, and really, the way that I found this place was I just woke up one morning and I was driving around industrial area of Dallas, and I knew that I wanted it in a warehouse in this part of Dallas. Welcome to East Grand Avenue. This is the scene where Rob is running from the Karma Incorporated offices, and he runs into these 3 guys who are trying to get some money off of him. This is the turning point of the story. It's the part of the story where the book stops being a comedy and all of a sudden becomes more crime fiction.
At the vice that you ministry, you'll earn your etiquette. That's green, climb the ranks and join us here amongst our bourgeoisie.
He'd been doing some stuff on his own, trying to self-publish some things and get some stuff out there with different publishers and doing his work. And we wanted to do whatever we could. When you've got talented individuals coming in the store doing art or writing or whatever, you want to do what you can to promote them, because you promote them, you in turn also promote yourself.
You are initially promoting to the retailers. You need to develop a good relationship with retailers, let them know that you're willing to support the book and help get it sold at their store, because with small press in particular, they're not going to buy a book unless they think that there are people out there who would want to read the book. And so I think having a good relationship with retailers is really important, because they're the ones who are really, they're going to be the ones selling your book to individual people.